right, let's go. It's a little chilly today. Okay, so Fed report that they're leaning towards another cut in December. That's awesome news. Also, can you negotiate closing costs? We'll talk about that, as well as REO of the week, or distressed properties of the week, and homes for sale near Apple, and homes for sale in Mountain View, as well as the 40-day market report. Let's get moving. Excuse my greasy, freshly swaffled hair there. Okay, we'll figure that. I'm going to get a cut here pretty soon. It's driving me nuts, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. The Feds are talking about another cut. Why? Well, they're saying that the economic data right now is still not coming down to the 2% inflationary rate that we're expecting, or we were promised, and it's evident. A lot of it's saying that they're stalling, or the economy might be stalling a little bit. So in order to pump it up, they might be dropping the rates a little bit just to see if we can tweak it, so to speak. On top of that, the jobs report has been pretty meek, to say the most. They're promising jobs, but they're not delivering jobs, and it just hasn't come to fruition. So that is hurting the economy, and ultimately that hurts the politics, I guess, whatever. But it hurts us. It hurts you and me. And I don't care if you make $5 million a year or you make $50,000 a year. It hurts us in the pocket because everything gets more expensive. Aggravatingly so on the higher end part if you're a high income earner, but if you're a low income earner, it makes it almost dubious and unimaginable. So if you're in the low income area, how can you afford to buy a house? It's not really that easy. And that's one of the only vehicles that you can use when you're poor or a low income employee to get out of poverty. It's important for us to teach people how to buy houses and how to own houses, and why it's important, because you can build wealth with real estate, right? You can build wealth in the stock market. You can build stock building your own business. You can do all that other stuff, but owning a house, everybody has to live somewhere. It's the easiest way to do it. Buy a house, pay down the mortgage, and then when you die, your kids will have a legacy to jump up and step up and become more prevalent. As a son of an immigrant, my mom came from Europe, war-torn Europe, moved to Canada, had me, and when we moved to California, we were super poor, and the first thing we did was buy a house. It's not the same as buying a house today, I understand, but years later, when you own a house, it allows you to be more economically stable. And it's the same thing for me. I'm not super rich. I want my kids to have me as a stepping stone. What legacy I provide them, maybe a couple $100, but it's a stepping stone for them to gain more wealth and more intelligence and more. And that's the American dream, right? That's why real estate is very important for all of us. Enough said of that. Hopefully we can drop the price. It's not going to help us here in the Silicon Valley, and we'll talk about that in a second, but outwards, if you go to Fresno or you go to Las Vegas, I just got back from Vegas and looked at houses out there. If you go to St. Louis, where people make a nominal income, can still afford to buy a house. It's possible. There's houses out there that are affordable for those people. Can you negotiate closing costs? Yes. And the best way to do it is shop around. And my lender people hate me when I tell you this. Yes, you can absolutely go. Should you go to Quicken? Not always. Quicken is not always, or Rocket Mortgage. Are they the best? No. For when you buy a house, no, because they don't care if you close on time. It's the same thing with the big banks. Wells Fargo and Bank of America have been pretty good, but the other ones, one starts with C, is deplorable. They don't give a shit about your contractual timeline. They'll close when they're ready to close. So just stay away from big banks. I always suggest working with a broker. And yeah, you might pay a little bit more in fee, but you're going to get better, more in service and knowledge and education and a better transaction all the way through, because brokers will want to communicate with the buyer's agent, the buyer, and the listing agent to make sure that they know what's going on. For example, I'm working with a deal right now and I haven't heard hide nor hear from the bank. I know we're closing. The buyer's agent's telling me we're closing, but I haven't heard from the lender. And that is just poor service on my part. So anyway, can you negotiate closing costs? Well, you can't. There's not recurring and non-recurring closing costs. And recurring closing costs is insurance and taxes. And if you have impounds or HOA, all those things are closed, and they want to have that stuff up on top for the next 6 months. So if you buy a house, they want to have you prepaid for insurance, and they want you prepaid for taxes. So those are things that you can't really get away from, but there are lender fees, there's escrow fees, there's agent fees, there's all sorts of things. And yes, you can negotiate those. Those are absolutely possible. Some agents or some lenders won't negotiate. They're like, no, I'm not going to worry about that. If you want to go and negotiate, go somewhere else. So what do? You go shop. You can shop around. Same thing with insurance. You're going to have home insurance, maybe fire insurance, maybe earthquake insurance, right? So where can you get all that wrapped up into the best deal? Well, again, you can go to a broker, right? I have a guy that's down in Southern California, and he shops around for me. He can shop around and take deals and make sure that you're getting the best insurance rates. So can you negotiate that? Not necessarily, because every insurance company has their cost. That's it. It's not like a car where you have a little bit of margin. You can negotiate that. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But a broker is going to tell you what it's going to cost. And there's not much stuff going around. But you can shop around. It's important for you to understand that. Right? You can shop around for agents, right? If you're working with people, like sometimes if somebody comes up to me and says, will you give me this? I'm like, no, because I'm so busy, I don't need to. Or sometimes, like if it's a friend, yeah, I'll hook them up. I'll do something good for them. I go above and beyond. Do I treat everybody equally? It depends on how they approach me. Right? If you come up and the first thing you want to do is ask for a discount, well, you don't know my value, so why would I want to work with you? I don't even know if I want to work with you. You might be one of those red flag type of people that are going to be a pain in my ass. So, it really depends on if I want to work with you or not. There's escrow fees, and those are pretty line item type stuff, right? There's also like lender fees, like processing fees and this fees and that fees. And a lot of agents charge you erroneous fees. And you got to watch out for that. You have to be able to understand what those fees are. So before you start shopping around and working with an agent, you have to ask them, what fees do you charge? I don't charge fees. I take it all out of my commission. Right? I get charged fees from my broker because that's just the way the business is. I don't believe in that, but there's other people that will charge you a transaction fee and a broker fee and a paper holding fee and all these other things. So those things you have to watch out for. That's if you're doing a purchase. If you're doing a refi, you don't have to deal with me. So there you go. So just be careful with that. And if you want to talk more about what fees you can and can't negotiate, give me a call. I'll walk you through it. And by the way, if you're thinking about selling your house, download this inspection checklist, because it allows you to walk through the house and get everything fixed up before you bring in an inspector or before you bring buyers in. That way your house sells for more. It's fairly comprehensive. It goes through a lot of different things, but no way should this ever take place of a third-party professional inspector. Their job is to be nook and cranny, look at every possible thing in your house and disclose it, so you don't have to, taking the liability off of you. So there you go. And by the way, if you do repairs, if you do affect repairs on your house, disclose it. I'd rather say, oh my God, this, or have a buyer go, oh my God, there's so many repairs you did, I don't want this house. Well, that buyer really isn't a buyer. They're kind of a pain in the ass. I'd rather scare buyers away because you have so many, especially here in Silicon Valley, that the mamby-pamby buyers that are going to complain about you doing repairs before you put your house on the market or anything else, right? I don't want those buyers. They're going to be a pain in your butt. And, as long as you disclose everything, you're going to be fine. There you go. Bank-owned property of the week. There's no disclosures with bank-owned properties, by the way. This is in Quibari Court. Quibari is in the Villages, which is a retirement community over on the east side of San Jose, if you haven't heard of this. And this is a single-story, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot, built in 1969 condominium. And I think this one has a carport. I think Quibari has carports. Yeah, see, it's a carport. So the negative thing is, where are you? We'll go over here. There you go. Everything's taped off. What's going on? What are they hiding? I bet they were painting stuff. That's what they were doing, and they took pictures. So this is bank owned. That means you're buying it as is. They're not going to do repairs. They're not going to give you any disclosures, and you're probably not going to get a great deal. They might tear out this carpet for you. You can ask for what, you can ask for concessions, but don't expect it, because this one has been on the market. It's not even on the market yet. It's new listing. It's not even on market yet. So there you go. Oh, the other positive thing about the Villages, it's a retirement community. They have a ton of fun things to do for you as a senior, 55 and older. They have a golf course, obviously, but they have over 100 different clubs. So if you're into knitting, sewing, quilting, horseshoe, pickleball, tennis, hiking, equestrian, woodworking, you name it, they have it. There's also very secure, there's a security guard center right here as you get in, and then they have people that drive around to make sure everything looks safe and sound. But it comes at a cost. It's $1,000 a month, $1,087 a month. There you go. So something to be aware of. Is this a good buy? Yeah. I mean, you're looking, I think this one is, how much is it? 455. Yeah, I remember they were going for about $600,000. These go for about $500,000. But in the condition that it's in, maybe fresh paint or cracks or what have you, it's a good deal. All right. Home near Apple. This one right here, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, gives you one whole photo to take a look at. I mean, it's not even a good photo. 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,100 square feet, 7,000 square feet. So what this is right here is a house that is awesome, because you're going to be able to tear it down and put one of those McMansions on it, right? It just popped on market, 9 days on market, and it's right off busy street, Wolf. Wolf is where Apple is right there, and then Valco's right here. Valco was right there, and then it's the first house. It actually faces Wolf Ave, but don't let that scare you. There's tons of people buying houses there on busy streets. Okay, this is Mountain View Home of the Week, and the reason why I picked it is because it's walking distance to Castro Street, and it's a nice little $3 million house. I don't know why they put 3,058. That's funny. The HOA is 87. Okay. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet, 5,800 square foot lot, 1938. I believe this one's historical, so there's not much you can do as far as building it up, but that's a really awesome neighborhood right here. It's quiet, tons of family, tons of people moving and walking all the time. It's just a great neighborhood to live in. And there's 21 pictures. Let's go take a look. So semi-updated. The tile floor is a little dated. This is 1990s, early 2000s. Man, that's a lot of kitchen for a smaller house. But it's classic nook. Looks like they built up and put something into an attic, a loft, to to make a third bedroom. Maybe we talked about this. It looks kind of familiar. All right. We talked about inventory being massively low. Holy cow. We're at 300 single family homes for sale, 300 homes for sale. We need to be about 1,000 for sale to make it a balanced market. Granted, it's December. Granted, it's cold out. Granted, people aren't thinking about buying a house right now, but inventory is very, very low. It's dangerously low. We were just a month ago, we were at 442, right? We peaked at 533 in June. So it's a good time to go out and buy, guys. If you're being picky, you're probably not going to find the right house, but inventory is low. And look at Santa Clara County, single family homes for sale. It's 553. That's lower than what we need for single family homes in San Jose alone. You need to be about 2,000. Crazy, right? Crazy. Okay, so we have 142 homes on market over 42 days. This is Santa Clara County. So roughly 20%-ish, 25%. And 90 days on market, we have 59. These are 90 days on market, meaning that's houses that have been on market longer than 90 days. And they're all over Santa Clara County, especially down here in Gilroy. That's a great place to go find a good deal. Bank-owned properties, we have 66 in the Bay Area and 203 in the whole of California, and that's it. All right, I'm going over. I wanted to make this quick. I apologize, but it is what it is. Thanks for watching. I'm Vito with Abitano. We'll see you out there.